Chapter 8, Test Review. You can see on number 1, directions say to simplify. That means break it down as low as it'll go. Right here I have multiplication, so I can see that I'm multiplying like bases. So I'm going to have W. When you multiply like bases, you add the exponent. So 6 plus 7 plus 4, which gives me W to the 17th. It is now simplified. That's as low as it'll go. Number 2. Again, I'm multiplying like bases. So that's going to become S to the, when you multiply like bases, you add exponents. And that has an imaginary exponent of 1. So 1 plus 7 plus 4, which gives me S to the 12th power. Number 3. Simplify, write your answer using exponents. Okay, here I have a power to a power. Remember, with a power to a power, you multiply exponents. So that's going to become 8 to the 6 times 3, which gives me 8 to the 18th. Number 4, simplify. In parentheses, I can see all I have is multiplication. So if you want to, you can break that down to look like 3 times 2 cubed times r to the 4th. All that is going to be squared. You have a power of a product. You have to distribute this power to each factor. So that's going to become 3 squared times power to a power, we multiply, so that's going to give me t to the 6th times power to a power, again we multiply, so I have r to the 8th. We're going to go ahead and simplify the number part of this, so 3 squared is 9, so I'm going to have 9 t to the 6th, r to the 8th. Number 5. Again, we're going to simplify. I can see that I have multiplication all the way across. So if you need to, break it apart. You're going to have negative x squared times negative x squared to the 2nd power times negative x cubed. Right. So we'll break that down a little further. I have negative x squared times negative x to the 4th power, is power to a power we multiply, times negative x cubed. Okay, I can see I'm multiplying like bases, so my base is going to stay the same. That means I'm going to add the exponents. So 2 plus 4 plus 3, which is going to give me negative x to the 9th power. Next problem. Number 6. Simplify the expression. Write your answer using exponents. Okay, I can see I'm dividing. I'm using division. Am I dividing like bases? Yes. So when you divide like bases, you subtract the exponent. So 12 minus 4 is going to give me 2 to the 8th. Since it says to write your answer using exponents, that will be your final answer. Number 7. Which is equivalent to 2 to the 12th divided by 2 to the 4th? We just did this problem right here in number 6. I don't know why the test does this, repeats the same problem. Again, you know you're going to subtract exponents, so you're going to have 2 to the 8th. Number 8, evaluate the expression. Okay, I'm dividing like bases, so I know I have to subtract the exponents. That's going to give me 7 to the negative 1. Remember, I don't want a negative exponent, so if I flip this, it's going to become 1 over 7 to the 1st. which just gives me 1 over 7. Right, number 9. 9 and 10 say simplify the expression using positive exponents. But here I can see I have division. Inside the numerator, I'm going to have -4. I have to distribute this power to the numerator and denominator, so I'm going to have -4 to the 8th divided by q to the 8th. Since it's q to the 8th power, I know I can eliminate c and d because that's 8 times q. So it leaves me with a and b. Well, what is -4 to the 8th power? If you put this in your calculator, put -4 inside parentheses to the 8th power, and you're going to get 65,536 over q to the 8th. So that's going to leave me with 8. This does not mean 4 times 8, so make sure y'all are clear on that. 10, I have division, so I have to distribute this power to the numerator and denominator. Power to a power, I know I'm going to multiply exponents, so I'm going to have u to the 36 divided by power to a power, v 30th. I have positive exponents, so there's nothing more I can do with that problem. It's going to leave me with b. Number 11, write as a fraction and simplify. Okay, to write as a fraction, we're just going to put it over 1. Hey, I have a negative exponent. I don't want that. So remember, if we flip it, it's going to become positive. Simplify that on down, we're going to get 1 over 64. Number 12, rewrite the expression using positive exponents. Okay, you know to get rid of a negative exponent, you're just going to move it. If it starts on the bottom, you're going to move it to the top. If it's on top, you're going to move it to the bottom. Well, I don't want y'all moving this 9 to the top because right now this 9 has an imaginary 1. If I were to flip that, that would become 9 to the -1. Right now it's positive where it's at, so we're just going to leave it as 1 over 9. You can see that I need to move my x -2 up, and that's going to become x squared. Move the y -1 up, so it's going to become y. So x squared over y divided by 9 would be simplified. And over here I have the 1 in front, but you don't have to write that 1. 13, rewrite the expression using positive exponents. Again, I'm just going to leave the 7 where it's at. So, I know that if I move the b -2 up, it's going to give me positive b squared. If I move the a -1 up, that's going to give me a to the first power, which is really 7b squared divided by 8. Which expression is equivalent to 8 to the 0 times 8 to the -13? If you want, you can just put this in your calculator, get your answer, and find out which one of these gives you the same answer. But we can see that we're multiplying like bases, therefore I'm going to add the exponents. 0 plus -13, that's going to give me 8 to the -13. I do not want a negative exponent, so I'm going to flip it, and that's going to become 1 over 8 to the 13, and of course I can see that that is b. 15, the same way. Which expression is equivalent to 8 to the -6 times 8 to the 9? Again, I'm multiplying like bases, so I'm going to add the exponents. That's going to give me 8 to the 3rd. And then dealing with scientific notation, this was our last lesson in chapter 8. Remember, scientific notation is in the form c times 10 to the n. C has to be a number 1 through 9. Looking at this, I know that this is not a number between 1 through 9, but I can make it be a decimal, 4.86 times 10 to the The decimal's right here originally. I put it right here. How far do I have to move to get to where it started? 1, 2, 3. So it's to the third power. Last page. 17. Right, we're going to write 0.000486 in scientific notation, so that's going to be 4.86 times 10. I'll put the decimal here. It began right here, so I'll go back 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I'm going to the left, that is negative. Rewrite 3.15 times 10 to the negative 8 in standard form. I'm just going to copy down the 315. I can see I have to move the decimal 8 to the left because it's negative. So if I move this 1, I know I have to move 7 more spots to the left. Use zeros as your placeholder, so I'm going to need 7 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't forget your decimal. Okay, rewrite 3.94 times 10 to the 9th in standard form. So I'm going to have 394. I have to move my decimal to the right 9 because that's a positive 9. So if I go 1, 2, I need 7 more places, so that's how many zeros you need. Evaluate. Okay, well I can see I have a product inside the parentheses, so this power I have to distribute to each factor. So that's going to become 6.19 squared times 10 to the power 2 and power. I'll multiply, so that's times 10 to the negative 4. We're going to evaluate from there. What is 6.19 squared? It is 38.3161 times 10 to the negative 4. Well, it says to write your answer in both standard and scientific notation. Well, is this scientific notation? No, because 38.3161 is bigger than 10. So I'm going to drop down this times 10 to the negative 4. And then I'm going to change this number here to scientific notation. Okay, so that's going to be 3.83161 times 10 to the, I put the decimal here. It begins right here, so I have to move 1 to the right, so it's going to be times 10 to the first power. Okay, well I see I'm multiplying same bases. So that means I'm going to add the exponents, so I'm going to have 3.83161 times 10 to the negative cube. You now have in scientific notation. It also wants it in standard form. Well, I can see I have to move my decimal 3 to the left. So if I go 1, I need 2 more places. So I'm going to have 0.00383161. You have now wrote it in standard and scientific notation. And then the last problem says Earth's radius is about 6,370,000 meters. Write this distance using scientific notation. Well, you first have to know how to write it in standard form. 6,370,000. Scientific notation, that's going to be 6.37 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 to the 6. Okay, so make sure y'all study that. That'll be your Chapter 8 review with your Chapter 8 test tomorrow.